What's up, everybody, and welcome to ESO Daily. I am your host, Mystic Raven. All right, guys. So, day 2 of leveling the the Sorc tank build. Sorry. So there's some Magicka Sorc tank build. Okay, so I finally got my dual bar. I have to switch out a few things because of PvP last night. The major thing that I wanted to get PvP in was get that Warhorn. I know a lot of players, some PvEers, do not like to PvP, but literally, guys, it doesn't take that long to get this. And in most of your trial runs, as a tank, you're going to be required to have Warhorn. So I would always suggest, even if you don't like PvP, on a weekend, a very good prime time, go in there, run some support, try to, don't do, if you're a tank, don't try to do solo, especially at like lower levels, and especially if you're uncomfortable with PvP. Unless you're, dedicated and you're built for 1v1s or 1v2s or anything like that. You can pretty much just stay in a lot of the group content, run support, and you're going to get your AP and your XP, and that's going to go ahead and help you obtain Warhorn. So another good ability to get in PvP from the PvP abilities is Guard as a tank. I don't use Guard a lot, especially in trials, but when during mob control in trials, Guard does come in handy. A lot of the boss mechanics in trials, bosses don't typically do damage to the surrounding players. A lot of players know what they're doing, so they can avoid a lot of that damage. But Guard still comes in handy through mob encounters. So I always tell people, Guard is another good ability for a tank, to slot in there as an option. So I did get my dual bar yesterday. I also switched out some gear. I like to switch out my gears between every 10 and every 12 levels while I'm leveling. Now, the main thing I always want to do, and I also got the inner fire here, as you guys can see. And that's going to be our primary taunt, right, guys? So it's kind of very important here. Now, since I was PvPing, I ran up a couple of the PvP abilities. Now, obviously, guys, the biggest thing for me is to keep with all of the abilities to level. So I ended up putting Lightning Splash on here, because even though I'm not going to be running a lot of these abilities in vets later on, I still want to get them up there. That's very, very important, guys. Just to get the abilities leveled is very important. So I'll keep usually one shield ability on each bar as I'm leveling it. I try to keep my Pierce Armor up there, just because at the moment it's giving the major fracture in the excuse me, the major breach, where this one is not. So I really want to keep Pierce Armor on there, increasing my DPS as damage. I use keep the Shattering Prisons over here, and once again, I'm actually going to switch out this ability for the Fighters Guild and use Circle of Protection. Circle of Protection to me is a great mitigating effect, because also it's going to mitigate damage, and it's going to give me stam recovery. So as a Sorc tank, I'm not going to be needing Bone Shield. The reason I'm not going to be needing Bone Shield is because I'm going to be using the ward from the Sorcerer tree. That's going to replenish Magicka. The mitigating effects that I'm going to be using are more from ward and Circle of Protection. Now, I can switch out Circle of Protection and use other abilities, but for now, I do want to get that leveled, and I want to get that morphed. All right, so of course we're going to keep Boundless Storms on this bar, keep Shattering Prisons, and I'll probably throw in another just ability. I keep my Liquid Lightning, yes. And it's pretty much all I'm really needing from here, and I got that. Okay. Trying to see if there's something else I want to be throwing on here as far as an ability goes. I like Defensive Posture. I think I'm going to go with this one on this bar. Okay, so we're just going to do a random and just kind of keep leveling. And major thing to always make sure of when you're switching out abilities, that you have one from every tree. So this from Storm Calling, this from Daedric Summoning, and this from Dark Magic. Those are going to help me level all those points in that skill. Same thing on this bar. Dark Magic, storm calling, and Daedric summoning. And I'm just doing random normals. Nothing too fancy. Not that I could do anything anyways. So I'm going to apply the food buff. So, but once again, guys, I mean, the main thing that we were trying to do here, and we're trying to accomplish, is get familiar with each class's capability for each role. A lot of times players just go to whatever, and then they're told and they think this is the way it is. And not to say that's wrong or it's a misconception. The problem of it is they don't seem to understand all of the capabilities of all the classes. And literally, when the dev said every class can play every role, they mean it. And so, but they're always going to be built different. They're always going to offer something different. So one's not better than the other. One just played different. And each of them have pros and cons. Okay, I want to get that pet out there. Yep.
By the Empyrean light move, Justiciars, to arms!
I'm gonna cut him back. Now, another thing I like about the Sorc tanks, they have a couple abilities that they can use to help synergize maul sets more than most tanks. So it's kind of really nice. Oh, that's a delay. All right. Once again, the people are a little gun-ho. And you can usually kite all these guys, in the back if people aren't running around like chickens like their heads cut off. Alright. Want to get that boss. Why do they... Whatever. I always usually go for this boss. Now watch, he'll skip. Of course he's skipping, because he's a person who's in a hurry. But we don't do that. As soon as they realize, see, one person did. Okay. Well, sometimes it takes me a minute to get used to the configuration of my controllers or my layout, my bar swap, especially when I'm leveling. And get to that synergy. All right. There's a heavy sack. And they're passing it. Okay.
I'll give you that.
All right. Now I'm not using any food buffs currently. Up until I get started on bet levels, I don't even bother anymore buying foods. Or making them most of the time. If I can make them, I probably use them, but since I'm on PC, I haven't done provisioning yet. So I don't even use foods. With everything the way the devs, scaled the dungeons for leveling, and especially with double XP, it's almost pointless to waste money or time on food. Now, if you're a first-time player and you don't know, food might be worth it, but for most of your experienced players, we get around not using food for at least normal content. Alright, got that off in time. Those AoEs down. Hit her with the minor maim as much as possible. Keep the taunt and inner fire up. Even on a block, it'll kick you back. Okay. Once again, hit her with that minor maim. Get that. And there it is, guys. Now, currently I'm level 20. I think that made me 24, actually. Let me see, or maybe 23. Now, I've been putting more into Magicka because I use more Magicka as a resource, but since it scales off of your levels, I try to, gradually keep them up as much as possible. Magicka is looking pretty good, so I'm going to put these 2 points over here, and that puts me at 24. I'm hoping to have be level 50, depending on my circumstances, either by the end of today or tomorrow. Now, there are certain grind spots you can go to that will literally grind your dude in a matter of hours. The thing about what I'm not doing, though, and I don't want to, is skip a lot of content during even double XP. That's why I do things a little different, because I still want to capitalize on getting skill points. Now, keep in mind, guys, even when you're doing story quests and you're doing quest turn-ins, those that double XP is also helping with that. Now, it is true that if you go to grind spots like Alikir Desert or a lot of delves and just grind out, you're going to level faster, and this is true. But for me to go back through the content and to get those skill points and do all this over again is still just as daunting and long. So what I like to do is just keep playing through a couple pieces of the content. So I'll get my dungeons out of the way, get those skill points. I'll do the quest, the main storyline as I'm, going through. I'll skip big chunks of it up until like level 30 something, and then I'll knock them all out typically as much as I can. Then I like at least get up to Cold Harbor and get the whole storyline done as much as possible. Once that's done, then I'll go in between and even do the grinding. Either way, no matter how you look at it, if you've done it before, you've been here, and it seems drawn out. But I want to get those lore books. I want to get those sky shirts. I want to get those skill points. I want to keep the skill points up as much as possible, because I want to unlock as much skills and keep as much much flexibility and versatility in my build options. Even as a tank, there's going to be a lot of times I'm not going to use certain abilities as a tank in vets that I would in trials, and vice versa. So versatility becomes very important. Same thing with gear selection. But once again, guys, this is why when you're leveling new tunes, you got to take advantage of what's been given to you with double XP, and not only just mass level a tune, but try to take advantage of getting those skill points and stuff out of the way. Because when double XP is over and you still have to go through it, it's now you're looking at a backwards time lapse, because as you're leveling, you typically do that and you already have it out of the way. Now you're going back, and now you're spending just as much time trying to acquire those skill points that you bypassed early on your early levels. So there it is, and that's just my advice. By all means, you don't ever have to take it. Do what you want to do. It's your game. But I do want to thank everybody for watching. If you have any questions or comments, especially about the Stam Sork, I have a couple of people who have given me a thumbs up, and a couple of people send me messages. Hey man, loving the idea of the Stam Sork. It's not a new concept. A lot of players already have it. I just wanted to make one. I've always wanted to do it. I'm looking forward to it. And once this build's done, guys, I promise you I'm going to be bringing you guys the most sickest content. I always try. So once again and always, guys, thanks for watching, and have a nice day.